All right. Well, I was actually just recording episode 4, and this episode that you're watching right now, and it turns out that I ran out of some disk space. So then the recording stopped as I was talking mid sentence, and now I have to redo it all. So, welcome to episode 4. Episode 4 was supposed to start diving into the wonderful world that we will build together, and I felt that my initial episodes they felt a little too salesy. They felt a little too they just weren't getting the message that I really want across, and I want people to leave these videos after 20 minutes or 30 minutes feeling inspired to actually take some form of change, because a lot of the time I think we see a lot of these self-help kind of videos, or we just consume content that doesn't really hit the mark or scratch the itch, and it can lead us to feeling like something in the moment, but we never fully take the leap. And didn't want this content that I was making to feel like I was trying to sell you on this idea of joining the garden, or trying to be a part of Kaizen and whatever, because yes, it is a business that I want to run, and a business that I want to grow, but at the same time it's something that I want people to show up for themselves, and not show up because I guess they put money into it, and are paying this guy to help guide them through their own self journey. Like, nothing. I'm not really trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to sell you on an idea of being a better version of yourself, and that's what this whole series is about. So I felt like those first episodes didn't really kind of cover that, and I didn't feel like I was left inspired enough. And I was going to delete those episodes, and I was going to redo those episodes, and which also would then feel a little bit disingenuous to what I'm talking about. Like, I'm trying to make it too perfect, and the whole idea of this is to not make it perfect. So this episode, we're going to right some of the wrongs and talk about what was I really saying. So the whole point is to get you to understand yourself, and understanding yourself plays a lot more into life than you think. It doesn't just play into AI like I was talking about before. Like, although AI is a tool that we will be using, it's a tool that is not going to go away, and I think people need to recognize that, whether or not you're somebody that is for or against, and it's just a tool. But the fundamental of everything here is that the self-knowledge aspect is something that you really have to understand. Like, that is a tool that money. I didn't actually bring a sword or anything. I should probably go get one. Money can't really buy that, right? Like, I can't give you something in exchange for money. Like, a lot of this comes from you having to step up, and that's a really heavy thing to carry. Like, that's really difficult for people, because it's a scary thing to have to try and step up and do something hard, but you have to really want that. So if you're at a point in your life, like I mentioned students, I mentioned the couple different professional tracks, right? Early career. I mentioned the established professional. But if you're at a point in your life where you're kind of feeling a little lost, you're feeling like maybe the cards weren't stacked in your favor, or any of those types of things, that's kind of what the community I want to build here is. Like, you have a place to go to, like, lean on people and get different perspectives and like help, and you don't have to like pay a subscription for that type of thing. Um, so what runs through all three of the topics, the what, how, why that I talked about, is the quality of what you bring into any room is a direct reflection of how well you know yourself. Um, if you go into like a job interview, um, and there's something that you don't know, you can just say you straight up don't know. But maybe you know something about yourself that you can spin that type of topic. And I do this all the time. Like, I don't know everything there is out there, but if you know yourself well enough to say, well, I actually had this experience that is pretty similar to what you're looking for, then that just kind of shows you a depth of knowledge that goes beyond a degree. It goes beyond work experience. Like, they're things that you can't necessarily teach. It's one of those skills that uh, what are they? The intangibles. It's intangible skills. So that's kind of what we're after, are those types of things, and that's super important. And there's no like class to take for that. There's no course for that. Like, you have to go seeking those types of things. They don't just show up. So that's the whole idea and the point of this entire series. So Kaizen also is not going to be focusing on skills or credentials. You don't need to have either of those things to be a part of this community. All we are trying to do is figure out who you actually are underneath all the layers that make you who you are. So we're going to be peeling away those layers and trying to figure out what's actually going on and who is that. Because that's where a lot of progress is made. That's where a lot of success in life lies. I mean, I just saw a TikTok talking about how Sabrina Carpenter says the next time that she was going to be at Coachella, she's going to be the one headlining it, and she did. The next time that she went to Coachella, she was the one that was headlining, and a lot of that is like visualization, and setting that goal for yourself and wanting to chase that thing. So you kind of have to sit down and think about, what's going to be your headlining at Coachella. What's the next big thing that you want to achieve? And the way that my mind functions a lot is I kind of see the end before I see the beginning. And a lot of the time, well, most of the time actually, if you really want to go and achieve something, it can seem really daunting at first. I can't believe I did that. It can seem really daunting at first. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, some of the things that I've done in my life have been really odd things that I didn't really think I was going to do it. Like, a great example of this was back in high school, where I did this project with a buddy of mine, and it was called Bartholomew's Vest. And it was a capstone project for senior year. And basically we had to come up with a problem and solve it using the engineering method. I went to a STEM high school, and this vest that we came up with used the non-Newtonian fluid oobleck. And if you're familiar with oobleck, it's from Dr. Seuss's Bartholomew and the Oobleck book, and how you make it. And if this is something I think a lot of kids probably did if you had cornstarch and water, is you just mix cornstarch and water, and the cornstarch, there's too much of it in the water, so it can't actually fully dissolve, and that's how you get that like liquid non-liquid. So basically, you're kind of thinking probably now, like, where's he going with this? We took that, we put it into this pouch, and in the pouch, we filled it with that fluid, and we were dispersing the energy of a bullet across a vest. So we had a level 2 vest. We, worked with the state troopers, and we went to a range, and we actually tested this out to see on clay We used clay to mimic like a body, wearing the vest, and we tried to disperse that energy, and turns out it worked. Worked so well that when we went to go present it at like our senior capstone, night thing, we impressed some people, and we ended up getting invited to go out to the state or the city science fair, which I am not like a science fair kind of person. I don't sign up for science fairs. I don't really care for them. Goodness. So we ended up going there. No intentions of going to a science fair. No intentions of signing up for one. But we ended up going anyway. And we got third place in that science fair. Which for me was crazy. Because at that time in high school, I had like very little faith in myself. I didn't really think I was as smart as my friends. Because all of them were, top in the class. And I was probably like somewhere near the bottom. And I just had very little faith in myself that I could actually do something that was worth building, or even worth having in a science fair. But at the end of it, I was like, oh, this is I'm here now. I didn't think about being here. I'm here now. And we just kind of went with it. So because we got third place in our science fair, we ended up going to state. We went to the state science fair, which was a little bit of a hassle to get into because of the way that we did our testing and what our project was about. There was some sensitivities to that, understandably, and we ended up impressing the judges, but the issue was I don't think they really wanted to honor our project, so we didn't really get any mention. And then we ended up going to some other science fair after that. That was kind of like more of a private thing. But it was really cool. It was a great experience nonetheless. And I'm super happy because that project taught me a lot, and it helped me later in life. So also there's these unexpected things that could happen where you just never know where things can take you. And you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to be willing to take risks and bet on yourself. And I was just thinking about this earlier. It's like I would always bet on myself, no matter what it is. Like I'm always going to think that like I could do this, and that's the same type of faith I put in other people too. Is that like everybody I think is fully capable of doing the things that they set out to do. You just have to have the willingness to do it. I mean, the hardest part is like if you think about the hardest part from an entrepreneurship perspective, because I just have to go there sometimes. Everybody has a great idea, but nobody actually takes that like initial step to start doing that idea. I mean, I have this idea to play Minecraft for 20 to 30 minutes a day and try to talk to people about how they can go on a self-discovery journey to change their life and chase their dreams. And that requires me putting myself out there and sitting here for 20 minutes and trying to figure out what to talk about. Like, that is very daunting to do. It's scary to do, and I don't blame you if you are feeling like it's just something that maybe you're not ready to take that leap, but you're never actually going to be ready. And you just have to start doing it, and you'll feel better as you go, because you'll figure it out as you go. So that's a little bit of a spiel, I think, that doesn't answer a lot of things, but it's just my philosophy and outlook on life and on how I do things. I just kind of start doing them and figure it out as I go, because if I try to think about what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to achieve before I actually do it and something gets derailed, then what am I supposed to do? Um, because I didn't plan for that to happen. It's a lot easier to be agile, um, and not know what you're doing while you're doing it, because then you're able to just effectively pivot and get out of those situations just a lot easier. Or maybe you don't have to get out of the situation, but you're able to just navigate it easier. So some other things that I wanted to talk about was self-knowledge is not a preparation thing. Like, self-knowledge is the real work. It's something that you have to always be working on. It never is going to go away. It's something that you will always have to develop, and it changes over time. So it's one of those things that you have to make sure you take a mental note of like that progress, and always make sure that you're reflecting. I've been doing a journey of trying to like lose weight for, oh man, it's been like 4 years of work now, and finally hit my goals fairly recently, and I totally forgot like how far I've come. And you have to be reminded of those things. Like, you have to be reminded of how far you came, and just take comfort in where you are right now. I think a lot of us just get lost in the grind, and we have no idea like just how far we've come, because we haven't taken that second to actually stop and you can say the saying of like stopping and smelling the roses, which is very true. Like, stop and take it all in for a second, and embrace the journey. So that self-knowledge it's not prepping you for anything. It's the actual real work that you're doing, so that when adversity arrives, you are prepared. That the work that you're doing is essentially what you're prepping yourself. Like, I think if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. So let's see. A lot of this too is when you know yourself, you know what you're asking for, and when you know what to ask for, every tool, every room, every conversation is just an extension of what you're thinking. So you can just walk in and, if you know that you're somebody who's hyper creative, and you have explored that, and you know what mediums that you're effective in, and you know what you're not effective in, then you can have much more productive and meaningful conversations with people. Or maybe, you meet somebody that doesn't have a common interest. You know what to say and what to do because you have genuine interest in wanting to learn more about that. Maybe you'll explore it and gain a new skill, or make a new friend along the way. So if you know who you are, what you're great at, what you're not great at, it becomes an effective conversation tool to meet new people and make more friends, and grow that network that helps push you along in life and in your goals and your career. So, I mean, I've already been posting every day at this point, but I will be here. I think I'll have these going out for the morning time when I record the daily, because I will be basically one ahead of myself. And I have nothing figured out. Like, I was going to delete the first episodes and redo this, and that just wouldn't really feel the Kaizen thing to do, because I messed up, or I felt like I did something wrong the first time, doesn't mean that I can go and erase it forever. Like, it'll just live there, and I'm not gonna go and effectively just erase the past because I felt like I was trying to sell you on an idea, um, or I'm not really trying to fearmonger or do anything. That's where I wanted to be. I want that iron right down there. I really just want you to feel inspired to take action. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like the world's ending or something, because that's not really kind of reality. Although like life may feel chaotic, but we can have controlled chaos and live in our minds that and like know that we're doing all right, and have like that home in ourselves, and that comfort. But this whole thing too is me building this like daily practice of showing up for yourself, um, and progressing. Right. I mean, I had some goals. I have goals still that I write down to tackle every year. I have a big goal. I have small goals, like small wins along the way, um, and I make sure that I'm able to tackle those things. And this is a goal of mine to be on here daily, showing up for me. But also, this is that metaphor to show up for yourself. Like every time that you show up to watch a 20 to 30 minute long video, you're also showing up for yourself, and have some small goals that you can tackle. How's there grass down here? So like for me, it's like a small win every day is like reading a chapter, or for a set amount of time at night, and a lot of probably what I'm going to be talking about is going to be coming from one of the books that I'm reading to understand myself better for the potential of leading, which is Simon Sinek's Start with Why, which is where the golden circle concept came from, and that's going to be a heavy influence right now. But that's what I've been trying to tackle every day, is just reading either that book, or I read my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books, because I've just been crushing those. I had that goal of actually reading, and I had to pick a fun book because the other books I was reading just were making me think too much, and sometimes you have to have a book that doesn't make you think too much. So definitely drop in, I guess, some recommendations for those as well. And I'll make sure I wrap up here soon. But this episode, I feel like, is pretty important. So I'm going to make sure that I cover everything I want to talk about. But have some fun reading books just to get back into it. I mean, when I was really disciplined and focused on bettering and doing things, I was meditating like 20 minutes a day. And I made sure that I was working out consistently, and reading my book every night, and getting to bed at a good time, because sleep is super important. So there's tons of things to work towards, but don't overwhelm yourself. Just kind of pick something that you can do easily, and start there, and then things will just compound from then on. And hopefully I can find my way out of this cave. But I'm going on here. I'm doing this. This is my a daily practice. So have that be that same thing for you too. Is show up for yourself, and start small. Do something like show up for yourself. Do something for yourself. For like that 20 minutes, right? For those 20 minutes, just do something for yourself, and have that small win in your back pocket, and you can check that off your list. So this channel, just keep in mind that this channel is about self-discovery, and this is the demonstration, right? We're going to be doing these things together. And look at that, we found our way back. I'm just going to put, let's see, I'm going to make sure I put some indicators here that this is the entrance. But I did mention some other games as well. So Minecraft. Minecraft is literally the symbol for a lot of things. We're starting from nothing. We're building something from nothing. Not that you have nothing already. There is plenty. We have you have your mind, you have your passions, you have your drive, your motivations. Um, but like Minecraft, we start from nothing. We start from just you know cutting down some trees, right? So we're building something. It's one day at a time. We have no finish line in sight because in life there is no finish line. Um, and then I wanted to kind of play some other games that I enjoy, which is Peak as a community based like climbing game, and that's kind of the idea there is that community is important and we need each other to lift each other up. And then Town to City, which is a long form game because you're building a city, so you have decisions to make, and maybe we'll bring that some of that in because that could be a more visually interesting game. Um, but that's kind of like what those small steps produce. But I hope that today kind of gave some clarity on the concepts and the ideas. Um, and I hope that you are inspired to kind of take a chance on yourself and bet on yourself and go on this journey, and regardless of how scary or daunting it may seem. Um, but that's the idea. Um, and I'll have an interest form in the link or in the bio in the description down below, so that if you do want to go on a Kaizen journey, um, then sign up that interest form, and that lets me know that you're interested, and we'll set you up in a cohort, and we'll get that journey started, and go on it together. So, thank you for joining me today, and um, please, if you have questions on things, feel free to comment them, and I'll respond. Um, but I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So, have a good one.